Alright, hey, what's going on, everybody? This is All Things Tech here. I've been trying to set up my screen recording so that it will record properly as I go and do tutorials to share with you guys on my knowledge and the things that I'm doing in my life. And I'm also was trying to set up this microphone to get a proper voice recording so that my audio will come through clearly, because rendering videos with text or script just takes a lot of time. So it would be better if I would just record properly and get my voice out there so that you can actually hear what I'm saying as I go through the thought process of what I am doing. So today I'm actually working on trading in my Range Rover. It's a 2014, and hopefully you can see it on the screen clearly. It's a 2014 Range Rover Evoque Dynamic, so it's top tier, optioned out, black on black. Maybe I'll find the picture and I'll put it on the corner so that you can see. Last year I bought this Rover for $35 before tax and fees. So with everything that I put in as far as time and money to acquire this Rover, it cost me probably about $39,000. And now it's December 2019, and I am looking to trade it in or cash out the equity in the Rover. Since it's paid off, I want to take the cash out of the actual vehicle. And the issue is a lot of these dealerships, well, first things first, I could easily, normal people would be able to go to the bank and probably loan against the vehicle and take the cash out and put the title back, or borrow against, lean on their own title. But in my case, I leverage credit heavily, and I like cars. I enjoy cars. And this year alone, I already purchased 3 different cars, and I had more than 5 cars at one point in this, like during this year. So it's pretty much utilized, to say the least. And so I have to find a way to restructure pulling out the equity on this Rover without selling the Rover. But in this case, at this point, I am probably going to sell it, or sell it for straight cash, and buy another vehicle. I really enjoy the car, but as far as the costs and the risk that is involved with getting the money out, it's just too high of a price and too much of a risk, especially with the options that they gave me as far as financing this vehicle. I can go into further details in a little bit, but right now what you see on the screen is 2 different car pricing models or websites to get an idea of how much your car is worth. And the first one, it's been around forever, is Kelley Blue Book, and the second one is Now the Guides. And of course, dealerships that use their in-house or their standard proprietary programs. It's not really proprietary, but it's blocked off to just dealerships and brokers that can look at the selling prices at auctions, and they will get a lower amount than this. But as far as a consumer, these are the price points that we want to stick with, and it's pretty reflective. So on Kelley Blue Book, I put on the information as best as I could, and the mileage and the condition. And right now it's telling me that I can trade it in for 20,161 up to 23,322. And so that's on the Kelley Blue Book side. And so what that means is if I go to the dealership, I should expect to get that amount of money or credit towards the vehicle that I'm purchasing. And on the NADA, I didn't go through the whole process to get to the final screen as far as pricing, so that I can walk through a couple steps so that you know, get an idea of what to do. So I went, the main page was car pricing, and then I'd selected the different manufacturer and then the model, and of course the year, and then from there it takes me to the different trim of the vehicle. And in this case, this is the 4-door 4D Dynamic 4-wheel drive, and I'll select that, and then you find your area code. That's close enough. And then the mileage, there's 57,000 miles on this vehicle. And then of course with options, this is fully optioned out. See if you can see what you need to see and select it. And so here we have the 24 Evoque Dynamic 4-door with the different price points from the rough trade-in to the average to the clean trade-in. And the number that we're looking at is going to be roughly these price points right here. So the rough trade-in is going to be 17.6, which is not even worth selling. Average is 19.6, it's still taking a big hit. And then the clean trade-ins, this is the price point that I'm expecting to get right here, 21,325. And of course, this is their projection of what the dealership is going to sell it for. And usually with this particular vehicle with the mileage on it, they're probably going to CPO it for next to nothing. Put some tires on it, look around the car, never been in wreck, any of that stuff, and look at the interior, and probably cost them next to nothing, literally, like maybe a couple tires, oil change, some fluids, cheap stuff, and then they're going to mark it up. So you can, in this example, on both examples or pricing models, you're going to see that they're going to make a killing, and 25.5 is CPO on this, but I already know they're going to probably mark it up a lot more. And at 25.5, you're going to also, as a buyer, you're going to incur the dealership fees, which is $600 to $700 plus taxes. So you're looking at about maybe $27,000 to $28,000. So if I were to give them this vehicle, literally give them and not sell it to them, because they're going to make a killing off it. And I already taken a hit from last year. So at 21.3 versus, say, let's say just base cost to me was 35. I'm already at $14,000 loss for a little bit more than a year, probably a year and a half of owning this vehicle. And it's just not me. Luxury brand vehicles are bottoming out real quick. Depreciation is hitting super hard and super quick, just due to the competitiveness of the market and how much, I guess, how competitive it is. And to be honest, I was looking at some Hondas today, and I grew up in imports, and I saw like 2018 Accord going for about 19,000 They hold value. Imports, Hondas, they definitely hold value. And I'm assuming the sticker on that's probably 30, 28 up to 30 some change. And I look at the C300, a 17 C300, a sticker about 60,000, selling for about 28,000. I mean, that is crazy how much it depreciated in like about 3 years or so. And I'm expecting it to bottom out even more. So, in my opinion, I opt for Mercedes. But the cost of maintenance is going to be higher. But then it's a low mileage. So it's a give and take. So if you want to enjoy that luxury brand and pay the premium, then cool, but depreciation is helping the premium go down. And in this case, a Range Rover, this one is the most expensive one at the time for the Evoque. It was sticker about 60,000, and right now I'm looking about this price points. So let's take this to a real life example. I went to car dealership one the other day, and let's call that car dealership A, and they did their thing. 45 minutes later, came out, offered me $18,250 to buy it back, and I'm like, wow. If I'm buying it, if I'm going to sell it to you guys, like, what can you do as far as selling it back to me? And of course, this is a question where they're like, why you want to buy it back? I was like, because this car is under my business and I want to buy it back personally. And now I can take out the cash and finance it at a lower rate than what my, say, credit card debt is. So if I'm going from 24% on a credit card roughly to even a 10% rate on a car, which for most people that's not good, like that actually have decent or okay credit. Car rates, of course, we have excellent credit. You can go into 4% with the current conditions. 4 or 5% is great. On the new car, they have promos in-house, and you can get maybe 0% to 2%. And then if you have fair to okay credit, I would say 8 to 10%. And if you're just hammering your credit and just inquiry or have a bad record on your credit, you probably can look at 13 to 18+% on the used car. But anyways, the point of this is I was going to buy it back at a lower rate, so I would have saved the increment change. Say if I finance this at 10% and I get the cash out of it and I have to put more than 1,000 down towards this repurchase, then I will save from, say, 20 to, say, average 24%. So 10 and 24, that leaves you 14%. That's the 14% savings I'm going to have upon their 18,000 or 17,000 net that they're going to give me over a course of a year. So you're looking at what, 17,000 times the 14% equals that amount. And that amount's going to be your annual interest, given that you don't pay towards the principal and keeping that same amount of principal throughout the year. So the saving that in itself will make up on the interest, will make up on probably towards a lot of the car payment let's take a look at that real quick. So you're going to say net at 17,000 is how much you're going to actually put towards your credit card debt after you take out, say, 1,000 or so for a down payment towards financing your car. And you're going to multiply that by the 24 minus 10, which is a new rate. So you're effectively having a 14% savings a year. So you multiply that by 0.14. So that means you're saving $23.80 a year on interest alone, meaning just making this move, really not doing anything except making this move and keeping the car, right? Then you divide that by 12. Technically, you're saving $198 a month on interest. So let's keep that number up there, and I'm going to go over here real quick. Given the conditions that I want, the amount, say I sell it for 18 and some change, and they mark it up, say I sell it for 18 flat, and they mark it up with fees and everything at 22. I'm going to buy the car back at 22. Yeah, that's a $4,000 markup. But the thing is, you get to, there's a couple of reasons as far as monetary, as far as non-monetary. The first is you like the car and the value you put into it, and you enjoy, you know, it's been taken care of. That 4K, the cash out, the money, the equity in it is worth it. Over 6 years, you're going to save the interest. Interest is going to eventually accumulate and accrue and accumulate, so that you're going to end up taking that cost out, regardless that interest is occurring like every second of every day and every month throughout the year. It's happening. You don't see it, but it's capitalizing back in the back of the scene, and that's why you end up effectively paying a lot more than what you paid for the car at the end of your loan, just due to the interest in the background, counting every moment. But at any rate, say here's a 10% at 22. 6 years at 72. I go for longest. And rates are usually higher if you extended your payments out. Anyway, so I go from 18K cash out. Now I'm keeping that 17, put 1,000 towards. So really it's like 21. Let's say 21 is that really they're 3,000 plus the one down payment. So 21 is going to what we'll be financing it for. That means my monthly payments at 10% is going to be $389 a month. So at that $389, you take out the $198. So effectively, the interest you're saving, you're paying $190 a month right now towards the car. Behind the scenes, the credit is netting against each other, from the credit card to the car loan, netting the difference in the percentage rate, which will effectively go towards the monthly payments. And with the monthly payments at $389, you effectively are paying $191 roughly a month out of pocket. But the thing is, now you're paying $191, but you're sitting with $17,000 towards a credit card that's paid down. So you have 17 grand sitting there. So $191, and you have 17 grand. Let's just say, let's do a full numbers so you can really see the real deal. So $389 is what you're going to pay a month. And let's say for 12 months, you're going to pay $4,668. And technically, if you do that for 12 months, you put that to the side, you're still effectively taking out $12,332 over a year. So your whole year is paid for. If you take our budget, that $389 times 12, out of the 17 that you have left over, that means you're going to keep about $12,000, $332 to yourself in that course of the year. And that 12 grand essentially is cash that you can use for something else. You can, let's say, you can invest, whatever the case might be. But so that's the play. So that's in the picture perfect scenario. So what really happened? So the first place offered me 18,250. Second place, dealership B, was Rover, and really interesting setup. So I went there. They actually offered me 20,700. Which is pretty decent, since I'm looking at 20,001 and 23.3 as far as the trade-in range, and they're offering me 20,700 with a huge chunk for the low mileage on it. I think it was like $3,400 or so credit. So they offered me 20,700, and they were willing to structure a deal. But here's the things I want to share with you as far as them being able to do the deal. They could have got the deal done. They did get the deal done. I just didn't think it was fair. So they were gonna buy back for $20,700. This is actual Range Rover of Charlotte. So just be mindful. They get the job done, but at the same time, it was a huge markup, and then there's a lot of risk on the actual loan itself. So dealerships usually make money on buybacks, of course, trade-ins, and they used to offer you a lot lower than this, but since the market became really competitive, they had to become more competitive with the internet sales and other competitors coming up. So the old school dealerships have to change their buying models. So at $28,700, they're gonna get their money regardless, even though they're getting a free sale. Essentially, this is a free sale. I sell them the car, I buy it back. They have to essentially do nothing on a 57,000 mile car. You know, it's not even. It's immaculate. I mean, probably like very, very, very good. Like you can literally buy it and resell it easily. The turn on it is not bad, and it's fully modded, black everything, black package. It's something that when you see, you're like, that's a nice Rover, and you're willing to pay at this price point for sure. Because if I was in the market for a car and I saw this vehicle at $25,000-$30,000, I absolutely would buy it because I bought it a lot higher a year and a half ago. So anyways, back to this. So that the 27 or 20,700 is like, hey, you know, we buy it back, okay, and we can do it. But the thing is, we're gonna have to sell it back to CPOU. That means certified pre-owned. So what they're saying is, I'm going to sell them the car, and they're going to do their inspection on the car that I'm already own, and I'm driving it already. And they're going to take it, and they're going to spend like a couple hours on it, if that, and then they're going to mark it up $5,000. So what that does is it's going to give me 100,000 miles, and this is the Hendrick CPO, not the Rover. So that's 10 years, 100, and so that's 10 years from the year of the vehicle make, and that's 100,000 miles from the original purchase date. So at 57 from 100, I still have 43,000 miles left of that 10-year period, so to 2024. So from now it's almost 2020, so that means I have 4 years, 43,000 miles, and that means I'm paying 5,000 for that. But in my mind, I was like, hey, you know what, that might be a good deal, just because a price point, a new Range Rover with tax fees and everything, you're looking at 50,000, give or take. Not fully optioned out, maybe 60. So that means I saved that mark. But do I really need to go with a new one? I don't think so. Do I really need a CPO on the vehicle? At the time, I was like, you can get the deal done. If you can get the deal done, I give you your money. You know, you get it done. I reward people. I reward people for job well done, or they're getting things done that most people don't understand or comprehend, and they're getting it done. Hey, you make your $5,000, okay, we can do that. And I expect my rate over here to be 10%, which my G-Wagon I financed at 6.49 with over $100,000 worth in other car loans, and I got that. That's telling me that guys that want to make moves, they have the ability to. You know, everything is at discretion, especially when there's a human on the other side of the phone or computer. They make the decision. So do you have the relationship, or do you have the ambition to get the deal done? So that's the first part. So 20,700 is what they're offering to buy back, and then I'm going to buy back from 25.7. So that's not it. So let me go ahead and add that 5 in there. And so now that's the first part. Okay, let me go over here. In my mind, this is what I'm thinking while they're doing these numbers and throwing options out at me. 25.7, and I say 10% is what I'm expecting, because so that those same loans that were over 100K, I just cleared out 100K in car loans. So that's another picture, like risk, as far as risk level. This is additional to my risk credit profile. This is actually a reduction of 100,000 already, and I want to finance, say, 26K roughly. So 25.7, 10%, 6 years. Let's calculate. It says I'm at 476, right? Okay, fair enough. Again, same example as earlier. 25.7, you're getting 500 a month now. 476, right? So let's glance at this real quick. So we're looking at 476 at 10%. Let's not waste time on that. This percentage is still 14% effectively savings from a 24% credit card at the 17. Or actually, this one be higher. This one actually would be 20,700 because they're offering more. And I'm going to take $1,000 out for a deposit, down payment, and I'm going to multiply that by the effective of 14. I'm going to divide that by 12, so that gives me 229 of interest savings effectively. That's saving behind the scenes. You don't see this happening. The 25/7 at 10 at 6 years will be 476. So now I'm saving 229, and I'm going to subtract that from the 476, which is 246. So the 246 is going to be how much I'm going to effectively, in my projection, paying out of pocket. So then that's what I'm going to be adding towards the interest savings. So 476 times, again, 12 months. So I'm budgeting 12 months out. So that's going to be taken care of, because right now I don't have a car payment, but interest is accruing on other things. So right now I have a car payment. So I'm going to go ahead and budget this amount so that I won't technically have a car payment for 12 months. So that in that time I can have opportunity to work on other things, so I can allocate the bills appropriately. You want to be on track with how much money's flowing in, how much is outflow. Inflow, outflow. Because if you don't know how much is inflow, or you don't have a grasp on how much is actual numbers, the outflow is going to accumulate, accelerate through living, through monthly bills, fixed, variable, and times is going to fly like that, and it's going to drain you. So now with the 57, I'm going to take it out of the 19.7 because I took out the 1,000 down payment. Leaves me with almost $14,000 for next year, sitting in the credit card or whatever. And emergencies use, I can go ahead and use it appropriately, and as necessary, and then the interest can start counting. So that will block $14,000 of interest. Well, actually that, and then the budget I put on there, I can either, for me, I will put that budget into the credit card as well, so that the true interest savings will be happening. And if you're short on making monthly payment, you need to pull it out of that card. There's ways to do it, and you pay fees. But I would recommend just getting the card paid with the full amount, the monthly payments, budget $125 a week to make that payment, and you got it. But so anyway, so that's the overall calculations of what's happening so far. Fast forward next day, they came back and they say that they're going to be, I think, about $529 as far as the payment. $529, why? Well, there, instead of financing me at 25/7, of course I had in my mind already, I know they're going to try to tack on the fees for the document, which they print out paper like $700, and then tax and all that stuff, which you can't avoid unless you're moving a plate over, which technically I am moving a plate over. But at this point I'm just like, I don't know. You're not really trying to help me, right? Because I'm giving you free money. I'm willing to do this number, and I know I will get approved at, if not at 1,000 down payment, at some point it will be approved. So I'm giving you free $6,000, $7,000, right? So anyways, so with the down payment, I'm going to be financing roughly about this, 26.3. 26.3 is what I'm going to be financing it at, right? So 26.3, I'm still at 487, but here's the kicker. They got me a rate at 2.94, which is a lot higher. That's 30% roughly higher than what I'm expecting to pay, and that actually is a lot of interest for a car loan, especially when you reduce your risk profile and cleared out like 3-4 different car loans in the last 5 months. That's insane. So I'm at 527, so that's the number, right, roughly. And my effective savings is only 11%, which is still cool. It's not bad. I'm still saving some interest, but do I really want to sell a car for $20,700, right? And then buy it back for $27,300, right? I'm giving them $6,600. Some of it's taxed, so $600. Let's say I'm giving them $6,000 to maybe change the tires, oil change, certify it for the next 43,000 miles, couple years, So their liability as far as what they're liable for under that warranty, and the 57K car, essentially none. The car is going to most likely hit 100 because I bought it at 30,000 miles and it already did 27. It's going to hit the 100. And the risk, the car start to really, take a toll around the 100K, give or take, and maintenance start getting really expensive. But that's $6,000 they want to take for a guy that comes in, going to give him a car and buy it back, and they want to make that kind of volume, which I see. I want to keep the car, so in a way, the extra $6,600 is like means something to me. Um, as far as keeping the car, the value of keeping the car, that 66 doesn't mean as much to me. Rephrase it that way. And over 6 years, it's like 1,000 over. But that's not it. It's not just 6,000 or 66 divided by 6 years. You got to think about the interest that's accruing on this loan. This loan at 26.3, by the time I pay it off, it's roughly 38, 39,000. So interest on at that rate over 6 years, that's going to be about $12,000 on a 26.3. That's the truth. Um, this doesn't give you the amortization schedule of the loan, but here you go, amortization schedule. Well, there you go. All right, so 26.3, 12.94, 6. So now look at this guy. So 527.72, 379. All right, I'm off a little bit. 38,000. 37,952. That's just how much on top of that 26.3. Let's see what that is. 37,952 minus 26.3. That's almost 12 grand. That's $11,652,000 in interest. That's quick way to break this down. 37.52. Let's add. So 37 in 10 key. I can type a lot faster on 10 key. 38,952 with the down payment. This is effectively the price that I'm paying is at the end of the 6 years with the interest, with the markup, with all that. So now this is what they're paying me. So I'm going to pay additional $18,252 by selling to them. They're going to make a killing. So they're getting that initial piece for the sell back to me. They're getting another piece from the bank that's financing it, which that's how they usually work. And then the bank is going to get an exorbitant amount of interest, which is negotiable. Let me state that, negotiable. It's discretionary. It's not like it's fixed in the system. It's negotiable. You have the right people in the right place. You talk to the right person, and they want to make it happen. It's negotiable. I went from here's a story about the G-Wagon. I had a guy, out of state finance manager. He went from almost 14% just due to the like $160,000 worth of cars loans that I have. On top of that, on the G-Wagon, and at 13% plus, he got down to 11. He got down to 9. He finally gets it down to 6.49. So rates are negotiable. It's like you either want to do it or they don't. Some are really greedy, and hey, that's their style. That's cool, but never is it fixed or locked in. I would say that like that's how they get you is pressure. If you need a car and you have to buy a car, you're gonna, of course, just not negotiable. Is it really not negotiable? No, it's negotiable. It's just you need it, and I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm gonna force and squeeze you. So, anyways, at that rate. So I asked, like, hey, can you flex down or can you adjust the rate? And then this is Ally Bank or whatever. I financed through them before. Have a track record, good record. They just wanted to be that way. So they asked for a pricing sheet. They said, and it's like the rate's non-negotiable. I'm like, okay, non-negotiable. All right, well, I'm still optimistic and pretty chill. I feel like I'm one of the easiest car buyers. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, then you want to finance me this car for 26.3, and I know I'm probably going to get 18 to 20 right now trade in. So I'm making an assumption that the car, if something happens to it, I need to get payout insurance, even fully covered, is fully covered of the book value, of the market value. So I'm still have this large financing piece that's not going to be covered. So if I get in a wreck and say worst case, it gets paid out 18 and I'm borrowing 26, it's like $8,000 on top of risk that I'm going to be carrying. So how do I mitigate that risk? gap, GAP, gap insurance, right? That's going to cover the difference. And usually credit unions sell for $200-300 on the term of the loan, and car dealerships market up to $800 to $1,012, and it's something that I can't express enough for you as a buyer if you get finance on the car to add to your finance package, because it's going to be taken out every month over the course of the loan, and it's essential. And I have dealerships that sell it to me and educated me about it when I first bought cars years ago. And so I request, it's like, so if you're not gonna, the rate's non-negotiable, and when I pay this hook up to the dealership, to the bank, can I add gap? And they're like, that's not an option. That's what they said, it's not an option. I'm like, it's not an option. So when has gap not been an option on a loan that you want to insure, like technically insure indirectly? When has it not been an option? You know, like, so you want to mark this up to me, and you're going to sell it back to me at that rate and the interest rate, both for you guys, and you say that gap's not an option. I'm like, hey, wait a second. Risk too much now. So you got first piece, markup. Second piece, interest rate. Now to feel a peace of mind as far as protecting my investment or my butt with the liability on that loan, because I'm not trying to jack up my credit. 3, you don't offer insurance on the loan as far as an accident or total loss or something, somebody stole it, whatever the case might be, where the insurance don't cover what I owe up to the book value of remaining from the loan to the car value payout, that difference, probably 8-10 grand. I don't think so, but I just shook my head and I was like, wow. I was like, this is incredible. I was like, this is incredible. I was like, wow. But hey, I know it could be done though. That's one thing I found out. This deal, the structure um, was doable. So what ended up happening, I called up another place with a KKB cash buy. They offered $22,000, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He said he's a sales manager. This is car dealership C, and I think it's Felix Ford or somewhere out there. But anyways, South Boulevard, Charlotte, and I was just talking. I was like, "Hey, you know, I return your call. You reach out to me. You want some information. This is what's going on. I want to sell the car. I want to buy it back." And this guy, he's so funny. He's like, "Hey, you know, we're not going to buy the car and sell it back to you at the same price." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. I don't expect you to sell me the car back at the same price." And I'm like, he's like, "I don't understand what you're trying to do." I was like, "Well, okay, I took a deep breath. I was like, let me try to explain this. There's equity in the car. It's under my business. I want to buy it back, take out the cash, and then I want to finance it. And of course, I know there's going to be a markup." The guy's like, "Well, we bought a car. We're not going to mark it up for a couple hundred." So I'm thinking like, wow, this guy's full of like preconceived notions of assumptions. Like, wow, like what is going on? This guy's just assuming. I'm like, no, I don't plan to buy back at a couple hundred markup. I'll make it worth your time. Trust me. I'm not cheap like that. That's what I said to him. And then he just started talking some more nonsense, and I was just like, you know what? Forget about it. If you're giving me this much of a headache on the phone, I don't even want to deal with you in person. Like, seriously, you make so much judgment on the phone and assumptions. It's just insane. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't need you. Obviously, I was trying to help you with this transaction. So this leads me to want to share that it's really tough to try to give people things and for them to appreciate it, or it's not even for them to appreciate it. They don't comprehend it. Like, it's hard for people to comprehend something that is pretty much a free meal. For most people, it's hard for them to comprehend that. Because essentially, legitimately, I'm going to go and sell a car to a dealership. Either I buy it or someone else buy it. They're going to mark it up. They're going to make their money, right? They're going to have to turn the car, get it up to their par, and then they're going to list on their lot, and then they got to advertise it, and then the people have to come in and they have to spend manpower to educate the consumer or the potential buyer about the vehicle, and then from there they have to spend more time um, talking to the sales manager dash finance manager. Now they have the finance guy has to talk to banks and then try to get them approved for whatever credit profile they have. So that's a lot of time, you know, and it's essentially doing the same thing, but I just pretty much made it a one-stop shop where I buy, sell everything. I sell, I buy, I get you all your credits, and I even selling your add-on products such as gap insurance. And you don't have to sell me extended warranty because you just about to charge me $6,000 for it. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm giving whoever makes this deal, or just put some good faith in it and try to make me feel, hey, that's cool. I'm not asking for 2% rate. 10% is what I'm asking for. Even at 11 is fine, or 12. Honestly, that 12.94, I was okay with that. Give me freaking gap insurance. You know, like, knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. And in some cases, ignorance is okay. Not knowing is okay in some cases. But in situations like this, people need to know. People need to be educated to request minimals just so that they can protect themselves, to protect the hard work that they put in making their money and saving their money. Because one move like this, it could take all your money, like essentially take all your money. So I want to like express my experience on this, and this isn't the first time that I've been in this situation. This year alone, I bought those 3 cars. I sold 3 cars. That's how much, and I took hits on it, and I want to share my experiences. So I really hope that if you got to this point, that this is educational, and that just be mindful. You might have a good as well as intent for others out there, but they don't show you the same kindness, especially strangers. And no, I'm not saying the world is bad. I'm just saying just watch your back. Be what you be who you want to be, live the way you want to live, but just be mindful to watch your back, because if you're gonna watch it, this stuff right here will take you out, and sometimes you will never come back from it. Just be mindful. And so, summary, I start searching other vehicles, and I might end up getting me a C300, a newer one, and essentially it's a $60,000 price car, and it's selling for $28,500. Call the guy, he set up the deal. Trade in is worth about the same, so I'm like, man, I might just get me a C300 coupe, and it looks cool. And the G wagon is eating a lot of gas, and eventually probably gonna wait for. I'll probably get rid of the Rover and just sell it to a dealership, a new one that I feel that it's trying to give their quality um, concern as far as helping me, at least making it feel genuine, Um, so now that place that the Range Rover Charlotte say that they don't offer gap, I'm just, well, I don't even ask why. Yeah, their price was $20,700. That's what they offer me. The other guy at the first dealership A, they offered me the 18250. They seem cool. Like personally, they did, like interactive wise, they're really cool. But the price is too much of a gap. If it was really close, I'll probably take a 19.5 over the 20-7 because I know they're gonna make their money, and then they're trying to literally F me and still make their money. Like I said, either I buy it or someone else buy it. They spend more time and resources, but they will get it sold. That's not a problem. But now, why do I want to give them that margin for? I'm doing all the work. I really am doing all the work, and you just have to like do what you do by submitting some things. I'm doing all the work for you, free money, free interest, and you want to be an a-hole about it? I don't think so. So first things first, I'm not gonna get another car. So I want to do another segment as far as buying used versus buying new, because I was considering leasing a brand new whatever AMG, whatever. But again, it's not feasible. I already did 3 cars this year, and so real quick, 3 cars: M4, um, brand new Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, and the what else I got? Actually, and then the G Wagon. I didn't sell all 3. I sold 2 of them, and I sold some other vehicles. I sold my F Type. I sold my E350 Mercedes, and sold something else. I think it was the CLA 250. But anyways, I hope this made sense, and I gave the process of what I go through or what I've been through this 2 days, and I want to share it. It might be a little messy, but this is improv, and there's no notes or nothing. This is just me as I'm thinking, and hopefully with time my content will flow more. Haven't been out much, haven't interacted with people much. I just wanted to focus on some things, get it out the way. Not this car, but like other professional stuff. And so hopefully the flow process is good enough so that you can follow, and this will help you. But yeah, I want to do another segment as far as what follow up on this and what I decide to do. glad that you're watching. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, subscribe. Talk to you soon. All things tech here.